Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're diving headfirst into a topic that, well, many have declared dead, right? A relic of the internet's past. But our sources tell a very different story. Cold email. You might picture it as, I don't know, a dinosaur, but what we're about to unpack shows it's actually like a thriving powerhouse for igniting business growth. For lead generation too, capable of delivering some really astonishing results. We're talking real-world triumphs here. From companies, individuals who aren't just surviving with it, they're absolutely flourishing. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how the source material completely uh, reshapes that narrative around cold email. We've pulled together a collection of really in-depth case studies. We're looking at founders, agency owners, people who've leveraged cold email not just as some tool, but as a strategic engine for these incredible outcomes. Our mission today, really, is to distill those experiences, to extract the core strategies, the critical mindsets, and probably most importantly, the truly actionable advice that you can apply yourself, helping you see this channel not as, an outdated tactic, but maybe more like a precision instrument.
It really does feel like cold email is constantly being declared dead. You see it all the time. Yet, our sources are suggesting a very different reality. What's the biggest misconception people have about cold email's effectiveness right now, say in 2025?
That skepticism is exactly why Ken Volk's story is so powerful. I mean, this is someone who went from doubting cold email could even scale to using it as the engine to exit one company, launch his own agency, and get this, book meetings with over half of the Fortune 500.
Half.
Yeah. So his experience, and honestly, all the case studies we looked at, they emphatically show cold email still works. It really does in 2025. But, and this is the key part, it requires a fundamental mindset shift. This mindset, it means moving from just a push mentality, just blasting emails out, to more of a pull strategy, where every single message is designed to solve a specific problem for a specific person. It has to be so compelling, they feel like they need to pull it towards them, It's not really about selling an offer right away, it's about presenting a solution.
Okay, building on that idea then, that refined approach.
Yeah.
What are the fundamental components, the DNA of these really successful cold email campaigns we're seeing?
Exactly. It seems to boil down to three core areas: sheer volume, incredibly smart strategic frameworks, and intelligent personalization.
Okay, let's start with volume, because you mentioned some big numbers.
Yeah, the numbers are pretty staggering. So take Igor Shapiro's team. They're sending over 1 million emails.
A million.
Per month.
Yeah.
And they're consistently booking between 150, maybe 200 qualified meetings from that. Ken Volk, the guy we just mentioned, trusts a platform for millions of sends every single month. And Sander Avik, look at his numbers, over 4.5 years, sent over 700,000 emails that generated more than 200 clients for him and over $750,000 in closed revenue.
Okay, so this is definitely not small scale.
Not at all. And it highlights Sanders' point that, quote, email infrastructure matters. And when they talk about infrastructure, they mean, everything from warmed up IP addresses, custom tracking domains, making sure all the authentication like SPF, DKIM, DMPRC, all that technical stuff is configured properly. These are basically the technical guardians, right? They prevent your emails, even at that massive scale, from just ending up straight in the spam folder.
Those numbers are staggering. But, I mean, for a listener who's maybe a small business owner, isn't that kind of volume incredibly daunting? How do they even start to approach that without getting flagged as spam, immediately?
Well, it's not just about the raw number, right? It's about having the right infrastructure and the right approach. The testimonials we saw from users like Sam Wilson, Sanjay John Eapen, Tony Liu, Shivang Singh, David Taggart, Tasha Rochford, they consistently point to specific platform features that allow this kind of scale. Things like ease of use is big, robust deliverability optimization settings, those technical safeguards we just talked about, the ability to add unlimited email accounts, which is crucial for volume, good support, a clean UI, and critically, the capacity to send at scale while maintaining deliverability. It's about having a tool that sort of removes the friction, lets you do massive outreach without just killing your inbox placement.
Okay, so we've seen how volume provides the engine, right? And the right infrastructure stops it from crashing and burning. But how do these masters make sure their messages actually connect, that they resonate, even when sending so many? What are these experts actually putting into those emails?
Yeah, this is where the strategic frameworks come in. Super important. Igor Shapiro, he emphasizes 3 pillars: volume, which we covered, frameworks, and personalization. And he points out something really crucial. Most founders, he says, blame the channel instead of the offer.
Interesting. Blame the channel, not the offer.
Exactly. Meaning, look, you can send a million emails, but if your offer isn't genuinely solving a problem or speaking to a clear need for that specific audience, it's just noise, right? The offer itself needs to be so compelling that the email is just kind of facilitating the connection to an already irresistible solution. Martin Aquinas, for example, he uses a specific cold email framework across hundreds of clients. It's like a repeatable blueprint. It ensures every email hits a clear pain point, offers a unique solution, and has a compelling, low-friction call to action.
And when you say low-friction call to action or, CTA, what does that actually look like in practice? Because I think a lot of people imagine like a really hard sell right out of the gate.
Yeah, that's the common mistake. Low-friction CTAs, these calls to action, they're really just clear prompts. They guide the recipient to a next step without making it feel like a huge commitment.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of a hard sell. So instead of buy now or book a demo today, which can be off-putting, these experts might use something softer, like would you be open to a quick 15-minute chat just to see if this is even relevant? Or maybe, does this resonate with any challenges you're facing right now? It's about getting a small, easy yes, something that opens the door to a bigger conversation later. Sander Evik's strategy, the one that yielded that 14.1% reply rate across his campaigns, he really nailed this low-friction approach.
Okay, so we've got the volume, the smart frameworks, the good offers, the low-friction CTAs. That brings us to that balance, right? Personalization versus scale. How do you possibly send millions of emails and still make them feel personal? Not like some generic blast.
Yeah, that's the art, isn't it? And it's a critical distinction. Martin Aquinas' team, they've apparently mastered this. They personalize outreach without relying on spray and pray tactics. The key seems to be smart segmentation. That's the term they use, which means leveraging data points that go way beyond just like the first name.
Right, more than just hi first name.
Exactly. They might pull details like a prospect's recent LinkedIn post, maybe, or a common industry trend they know that company is facing, or even a specific technology they use. This lets them craft messages that feel much more tailor-made, deeply relevant, even when they're sent out to thousands of people. It involves approaching deliverability, targeting, copywriting, all of it, like a pro, as they say, ensuring every message really resonates.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, because we're not just talking theory. We have some absolutely incredible, like, real-world triumphs from these sources. Give us some of the standout moments, the things that truly prove this approach works.
Absolutely. Let's talk results. Igor Shapiro, for instance, generated over 5,000 B2B opportunities. That's 5,000 qualified business-to-business leads just last year.
5,000, okay.
And he also had this one specific campaign targeting the creator economy. It hit an astounding 22% reply rate. 22%.
That's huge for cold email.
It's massive. Then there's Pranav Lipinski. He didn't just scale his own agency using cold email, booking meetings with Fortune 500 CEOs, mind you. But he also helped startups land their first million in revenue using these methods. And Ken Volk, back to him, he demonstrated the power of iterative refinement, constantly testing and tweaking. He landed 147 opportunities in one single day, all thanks to, quote, one messaging tweak.
Wait, hang on. 147 opportunities in one day. From one single tweak, that's incredible. Can you give us a sense, like, what kind of tweak could possibly have that level of impact?
Well, Ken Volk's story, it's not really about magic, right? It's about the power of relentless A/B testing and really, truly understanding your audience so intimately that sometimes, a single word change can unlock a massive response. I mean, imagine it could be something as simple as changing a passive question, like, are you interested in X, to one that identifies a clear pain point, maybe, are you struggling with Y problem right now? You're shifting from just a passive query to something that directly addresses a perceived challenge they might have. It hits harder.
Makes sense.
And then look at Martin Aquinas. Using cold email alone, he helped drive, get this, $1.6 billion in pipeline.
Billion. With a B.
Billion with a B. And over $150 million in sourced deals purely through cold email. I mean, these aren't just small wins. They're absolute game changers. They prove the channel's immense power when it's done right.
These numbers are truly inspiring, yeah. But success often comes, through overcoming significant hurdles, through making mistakes. What were some of the hardest lessons these experts learned, and maybe what common pitfalls should, we be avoiding if we're just starting out?
Yeah, that's crucial. Pranav Lipinski shared some really valuable insights on the Common mistakes that burn inboxes early. Things like ignoring the whole email account warm-up process, that's a big one,
Huh.
or sending too many links right at the start, or using overly promotional language that just screams spam to the
Right,
filters.
the classic mistakes.
The classic mistakes. He also explains why most founders overcomplicate email sequences and what to do instead.
The advice seems to lean towards, honestly, simplicity and directness. Avoid these super long multi-step sequences that tend to confuse people rather than convert them. Sandra Emick also weighs in with what to avoid when you're starting.
Mhm.
And it really ties back to ensuring you have that proper infrastructure set up from day one. And also setting realistic expectations for your initial results. Focus on those incremental improvements, not expecting miracles overnight. The key message really is simplify your process. Focus on the fundamentals. Don't get bogged down in these complex, often ineffective sequences.
It sounds like, okay, once you get those fundamentals right, the infrastructure, the offer, the simple sequence, these strategies can scale enormously. What about taking these concepts beyond just, say, a single person or even a single country? Oh, yeah, that's where the scalability really, really shines. Sander Avik, for instance, he actually developed a system for scaling cold email across multiple countries and languages. And this isn't just about like direct translation, that rarely works well. It addresses things like localized compliance issues, think GDPR in Europe or CCPA in California, cultural nuances in messaging, even optimizing send times for different time zones to maximize those open rates. It's a whole multifaceted approach to going global.
Complex but powerful.
Very. And Martin Awareness, he provides tactics for actually building and scaling outreach teams
Mhm.
and also scaling lead generation across channels, emphasizing that cold email doesn't have to live in a silo. It can and probably should be integrated into a broader multi-channel strategy. It's all about replicate-off success and building robust systems, not just relying on one-off campaigns.
So what does this all mean? What does it mean for you, our listener, hearing all this?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it means cold email when it's executed with that strategic volume we talked about, those well-defined frameworks, and that smart personalization. It's not only alive, it's actually thriving. It's a really powerful engine for business growth. The takeaways here are about maybe rethinking your current approach, simplifying your process, and learning to scale smarter, not just harder.
Right. So here's a final thought for you to take away. How might understanding this blend, the high volume, the precise frameworks, and that deep, smart personalization, how might that shift your own approach to reaching out? Not just in business maybe, but in any area where you really want to connect with someone and generate a meaningful response. Something to think about until next time on the deep dive.